Welcome again. Now I'm going to introduce our today's panelists and organizing team. Mr. Anwar, can you share the slide with us? Share the slide. Now I'm going to introduce our today's session chair, Dr. Muhammad Kashem. Honorable Dr. Muhammad Kashem, sir, Professor, Department of CSC, Dhaka University of Engineering and Technology. He is also Director, Physical Education Center and Additional Director, Planning and Development at Gazipur. His core interest in software testing and quality assurance, information system management, cyber physical system, speech signal processing, telemonitoring of maternal health care, targeting medical cyber physical system. He has 20 years of teaching research experiences. He has more than 100 publications, including research papers in different national and international journals. Now I'm going to introduce our Managing Director and founder of iSTEM, M. Mokammel. Mr. Hawk is an academic director, engineering, construction, and automotive CCSW UK, and also international moderator Pearson UK. Mechanical engineer lead Unicourse UK. Mr. Hawk is highly experienced in teaching, learning, and assessment within FE and HE sector, including aviation and aerospace training, EASA, European Aviation Safety Agency, from 4 folder. Mr. Hawk specialized in TLA, CPD training, curriculum development, licensing, and IQA, EQA, PBL, and STEM education, and curriculum design. Our today's keynote speaker, Dr. M. Maniruzzaman, sir. Currently, Dr. M. Maniruzzaman is a professor in the Department of English at Jahangirnagar University, Bangladesh, and IELTS speaking examiner, ITP, Bangladesh. He has 25 years teaching research experiences and more than 100 publications, including research papers, translations, book reviews, and books. His core interests including test methodology, curriculum, syllabus, design materials, development, assessment, and testing, educational technology, and L2 teacher education. He has completed e-teacher methodology for TESOL at the University of Maryland, BC. Our today's resource person, Dr. Muhammad Sofian Hadi from Indonesia. Muhammad Sofian Hadi, currently Assistant Professor in the English Department, Faculty of Education, Muhammadiyah University of Jakarta, Indonesia. He is also the head Department of English of University of Jakarta. He is a professional teacher trainer. He has 15 years of teaching research experiences and more than 50 national and international journal publications, including research article, review, and books. His main interests are teaching English language education and mobile assisted language learning model. Our another resource person, Dr. Vishal Kumar, is working as an associate professor at School of Management, Maharaja Agrasen University, Badi, Himachal Pradesh. He has 18 years of teaching experience as a faculty in commerce and management with a specialization of accounting and finance. He is a prolific writer and has authored 21 books covering an array of topics pertaining to commerce and management, which include international finance, international business, financial management, business commerce measurement, and costing accounting. He has contributed 24 research papers in various national and international journals. Here I am, Aisha Khatun. I am acting as a teaching learning assessment coordinator and director of M.Pd. I am a research fellow of Jahangirnagar University, Dhaka, Bangladesh. GM Anwar Hussain is our organizing secretary and today's webinar. He is Director of Finance and Marketing, ISTMBD. GM Anwar, expert in planning and organizing educational events, marketing and promoting of educational curriculum, managing HR and finance. If any participant has got any kind of technical problem regarding audio and video, just feel free to put your comment in the chat box. Our technical director, GM Anwar, is there to help you out from it. Dear participants, during the lockdown period, most educational institutes all over the world have swiftly shifted to online mode of instruction, abandoning the traditional classroom teaching, which we never thought and taught to conduct. We are very fortunate today to have our distinguished panelists and speakers that their deliberation will throw light on many facts which are unforeseen amidst COVID-19 pandemic. Now I'm requesting our session chair, Honorable Dr. Muhammad Kashem, sir, to proceed with his welcome speech. Chairman sir, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sir, over to you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is great pleasure for me to be here as a session chair. Before I start my welcome speech, I would like to say a couple of words regarding this month of August. We know that 15 August of this month is our National Mourning Day. On 15 August back in 1975, we lost our father of nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. The self-confessed killers did not murder only Bangabandhu, but also they killed 16 other members of his family, friends and relatives. The killing of the greatest son of soil in 1,000 years, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, descended a pall of gloom and spread a sense of deep sadness among the people in the country and across the globe. My sincere respect and gratitude to our national hero, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and his family members. Let us pray for the salvation of his soul. We know that our present Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, she is daughter of our great leader, father of nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. She is like her father and she is very much active and unstoppable. Her role and policy making during the pandemic for every sector are tremendous. As an academician, it is our responsibility to work together for our father of nation, Bangabandhu Sonar Bangla, to ensure quality of education for our future generation. For the pandemic situation of COVID-19, the government and Education Ministry of Bangladesh has taken different initiatives for different levels of education sectors. That is why we can say no pandemic, epidemic or disaster should not stop the way of disseminating knowledge. Now, on behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to welcome our honorable keynote speaker, Professor Dr. M. Maniruzzaman sir. He is from Jahangirnagar University. I also would like to welcome Professor Dr. Vishal Kumar from India, Dr. Muhammad Sofian Hadi from Indonesia, and Mr. M. Mokammel. He is Managing Director and founder of M.Pd, and also Ms. Aisha, convener of today's webinar. I also would like to welcome all of the participants and viewers to our first international webinar 2020 on enhancing teaching, learning, assessment through e-learning technology. A very good evening to all of you. The outbreak of COVID-19 actually paralyzed our whole system of living and created drastic changes in all the aspects of human life. It caused a paradigm shift in the education sector, which created a demand for e-learning. So e-learning is a learning method which takes the for the internet. Though e-learning is not a new phenomenon, but maximum of us never thought and taught previously using e-learning platforms. However, we have taken up this challenge and are working hard to overcome the difficulties. As a researcher, under my supervision, a couple of students are doing their research activities in e-learning platform. Two of them already completed their post-graduation degree. One research activity was integrated an existing e-learning platforms with any kind of university management system. And another research activity was to develop an information fusion algorithm by using NSDBS technology for virtual classrooms. I have seen many people doing different research activities in this field, and there are lots of interesting challenges which we can solve in future. I am sure that the experiences and ideas of today's webinar will strengthen our abilities, improve our research, and make us ready to take future challenges in the continuation of the learning. Last but not the least, I believe that through today's webinar, we will share lots of knowledge with each other and we will definitely generate new knowledge for the future generation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful speech. Now I'm inviting Mr. Mokammel, founder of M.Pd, to moderate the whole session. Mr. Hawk,
Thank
can
you,
you hear me?
thank you,
Yes, sir.
Asyik Khatun. I just like to give a big thanks to our honorable chairman, Professor Dr. Muhammad Kashem, for his valuable speech. Yes, it is was a very difficult time for not only for Bangladesh, for the rest of the world. I was stuck in UK. I live in UK, obviously, so I have a little bit better privilege from probably other nations in terms of the using the e-learning facilities and different type of VLEs as well. Now we are very, very privileged to have a group of people here, expert in, like in Professor Dr. Abul Kashem, he is an expert in ICT, Information and Communication Technology and Computer Science and Engineering. And myself, I'm an expert in a teaching, learning and assessment. And we have Dr. Professor Maniruzzaman, expert in language. Wow. So it's combined with all of those resources. We also have a, Dr. Hadi with us and Dr. Kumar, who is an expert in everything. All of them are individually expert in own field. Therefore, today's discussion, I'm sure it will be very, very interesting one to hear. With this, I just like to invite our first panelist and our keynote speaker, Dr. M. Maniruzzaman, to talk about blended learning, a total learning solution. Sir, over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mokammel Hussain, MD, ISTEM. Honorable Chairman of the session, MD ISTEM, Mr. Mokammel, the speakers here from Indonesia, Dr. Hadi, Dr. Vishal from India, enthusiast, audience. Here I missed Ms. Aisha Khatuda, coordinator and of ISTEM and convener of this international webinar, and the technical expert. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, namaskar, good afternoon. As our chairman mentioned, now we are passing August. It's a month of mourning in Bangladesh. In August 1975, we lost our father of nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and 16 family members and relatives of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. I would like to mourn the death of the martyrs. I would like to pay due tribute to the father of our nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and the other martyrs. Now, let me start my presentation. The presentation title is Blended Learning, a Total Solution. Can I share slides? Mr. Expert, or Ms. Coordinator.
Yes, sir, you can slide to share.
Yes, thank you very much. Sorry, just give me a second.
Okay, sir, no problem. You take your time. And if you have got any problem, just inform us.
Do you see the slides? Do you see the slides?
Yes, sir. We can
Yes,
see.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, blended learning. It's today's presentation title, blended learning, total learning solution. Actually, there is nothing in this world that can give us a total solution. Yeah, just to attract the audience, I have used this phrase, a total learning solution. Blended learning, synonymous with mixed learning. It's a combination of two types of learning, online learning and face-to-face learning. But as MD of STEM, Mr. Mokammel mentioned, whether COVID-19 is a blessing or a curse to us. Actually, everything has two sides, two opposite sides. That's why very famous English poet William Blake composed poems entitled Songs of Innocence and Experience. So everything has both positive and negative sides, but we should try to exploit the positive sides and ignore or avoid the negative sides. Just as to the blended learning, today's agenda includes blended learning, what, why, face-to-face learning versus online learning, blended learning as a mix of best practices, blended learning. I'll show a sample model of blended learning. Then the best practices in blended course delivery and assessment in blended learning. The goal and objectives of today's presentation. Goal, the presentation focuses on blended learning as a total learning solution. Objectives, upon completion of this presentation, you should be able to define blended learning, justify blended learning, differentiate face-to-face learning from online learning, explain blended learning as a mix of best practices, describe a blended learning model, summarize best practices in blended learning delivery, and exemplify assessment in blended learning. Let's first have a look at the definition of blended learning. Blended learning is the thoughtful integration of classroom face-to-face learning experiences with online learning experiences. I have used some references here, not mentioning the researchers' names. Blended learning is also called hybrid learning. And now, somehow, to a substantial extent, we live in a hybrid time. Everything is getting hybrid. And blended learning combines the best of online learning and face-to-face learning, face-to-face instruction for the purpose of promoting learning. Blended learning doesn't occur simply by adding a few online strategies to our traditional classroom. Successful blended learning requires an intentional as well as integrated approach. The blend of methods should depend upon the needs and interests of the students and the institution, educational institution as well. Here I have shown blended learning in a figure. Just as I have already mentioned, blended learning includes the best practices of face-to-face learning experiences and online learning experiences. I have used a reference here, Vaughan 2010. Why is blended learning important? Why should we adopt and use blended learning? Blended learning allows teachers to address a variety of learning styles with a variation of instructional methods. It helps both teachers and students have the opportunity to develop their technology skills. Blended learning practices increase student motivation, student autonomy, as well as responsibility. Blended learning fosters more personalized instruction and flexibility. It creates opportunities for teachers to use online curriculum for basic information and extensions and or review and class time for higher order thinking activities. Blended learning frequently provides a higher level of interaction than usually experienced in traditional face-to-face courses. Here I have shown some major differences between face-to-face learning and online learning. Here my purpose is I'll pick up the best practices of face-to-face learning and online learning. Then I'll define blended learning. Let's first look at the advantages of the two modes of learning. Face-to-face learning. Teachers promptly reduces distance between students and faculty. Just the teacher can go very near students. Dialogue and collaboration occur in real time, synchronously. There is a visceral connection to another person. Teachers can gauge the emotional, psychological state of the students. Teachers can easily change direction if events or circumstances require. On the other hand, online learning has some advantages or positive sides. Number one, online content, discussions, directions, and so on are persistent. Learning by the students is flexible. Teachers can repeatedly go back and connect with individuals and easily give feedback. Number four, online provides a wide platform for rich media, video, audio simulations, and unlimited web content, apps, software, and sources, resources. And number five, online courses enhance learner autonomy and learning by doing. Just online learning empowers learners. These two modes have some negative sides or disadvantages. Let's have a look at the disadvantages of face-to-face learning and online learning. Let's start with face-to-face learning. Disadvantages. It can be difficult to remember pertinent information about students. Much of the content of discussions is lost in time. Tied to a strict time schedule of several hours during a week, limited time, can only access limited resources in class. the ebb and flow of the class can be dependent on the tenor of the student engagement. Similarly, online learning has some disadvantages. Dialogue with students is difficult to create and maintain. Lack of immediacy, facial expression, names, comfort level, student observation, as well as motivation. Number three, content in class activity is usually prescribed without any room for spontaneity. Discussion boards, unless strictly directed, can become somewhat chaotic. Technical constraints can hamper learning. For example, today, to start my session, my presentation or sharing, I took some minutes to experience. So now you see here, I have picked up the best practices of the two modes of learning, face-to-face learning and online learning. As we have seen in the agenda, as well as in the objectives of today's presentation, blended learning is considered a mix of best practices of face-to-face learning and online learning. Blended learning can combine the best of face-to-face instruction and online instruction. Number one, immediacy. It's linked with face-to-face learning, so we can take it. We can just for real time or synchronous interaction, presentation, delivery, activity, tasks, we can consider immediacy. Then dialogue, it better happens in face-to-face classes. Then spontaneity, number three, persistence. Number four, spontaneity. Next, flexibility. Next, increased student responsibility. Room for rich media and collaboration. Ability to give constant and consistent feedback. Available time. Just here, I have included the best practices of face-to-face learning and online learning. And here, one thing I should mention, in many cases, in face-to-face learning, the teacher dominates the class. The teacher controls everything, including the student's time, the student's learning strategies, even the student's classroom activities. But on online learning, the students are more independent than teachers. The students can have a lot of time. They can study, they can do different lessons in accordance with the convenience of their of the students, in accordance with the convenience. They can have materials, online materials, and keep them, and they can preserve them, they can use them anytime, anywhere. In the face-to-face mode, we see that teaching has limited contact hours. For example, weekly 2 times or 3 times, 3 hours or 5 hours. But online learning gives both teachers and students a lot of time. There is the flexibility, a lot of time, a lot of independence, basically for the students. So here we see that both the modes of teaching and learning, I mean face-to-face and online, have some positive sides, though they have some demerits. So if we can combine the positive sides, for example, now we are passing through a very difficult time, trying time. COVID-19 has just confined us all to our homes. We are now maintaining social distance or physical distance. So here, almost all the universities in Bangladesh have already started offering and conducting online classes. So I see that's if I consider my experience, I started offering online classes on 22nd March 2020 because our university was declared closed on 19th March, and I started online contacting. I started contacting my students over the phone as well as online, and then I started my online teaching on 22nd March. And I uh, see now after a lot of weeks, after just you see after more than 4 months, I see we are. I mean, I and as well as my students am we are very much comfortable with the online teaching and learning, and even we see online we have better engagement and interaction as well as communication than we usually experience your traditional face-to-face classroom teaching and learning. But yeah, assessment faces some problems. I'll give some talks on assessment. Let's go to the next point. Here I have shown a sample blended learning model, and it's I already mentioned it's also considered a hybrid model, hybrid learning. So here I have I have mentioned a hybrid online model. The first class can be face-to-face, that's it's the orientation class. Then we can use different platforms and media for engaging our students synchronously, and just the teacher can conduct, the teacher can give give lessons and the students can take them. And this way, the teacher can also conduct or administer some quizzes or other formative assessment techniques, tools, no problem. And then the student teacher can also use some asynchronous discussions which the students enjoy, which the students find participating, engaging, interactive, and they benefit a lot from both synchronous and asynchronous exchanges and activities. And the last class can be face-to-face class. So it may be in a small scale sample blended learning program. And based on this sample, we can design a larger or smaller blended learning program. Next point, best practices in blended course delivery. Number one, providing opportunities for interactive and collaborative learning. Here, actually, we know, according to Vygotsky 1987, students better learn by doing themselves through practice, through collaboration, through cooperation, through interaction, through engagement. So blended learning creates opportunities for students for interaction, engagement, collaboration, and cooperation. The second point, having a strong command of the subject matter and having the best to design and present activities in online format. So it means, yeah, the second point is related to the teacher. The teacher should have a strong command of the subject matter, and she should have the ability to design and present activities in online formats. Third point, providing both digital and print text, since some students have difficulty reading digital texts. Here, that teacher is to think of two types of texts or materials, both digital materials and printed materials, because some students are very much comfortable with digital materials, but some of the students find print materials more, they feel more comfortable with print materials. Next point, hosting video lectures that help bridge the gap between faculty and students while not meeting face to face. So now we are, I already mentioned, we are in a very difficult situation. The COVID-19 has compelled us to conduct online classes, to give online lessons. So now we can provide our students with online materials so that the students can use the materials and utilize the time and complete their courses. Then assessment. Assessment is to be adapted to fit e-learning expectations. And next point, creating a learning environment that integrates social, cognitive, and teaching elements in a way that will precipitate and sustain critical reflection and discourse. Now, assessment in blended learning. In face-to-face learning, we see both formative and summative tests or assessment tools. But when we are using a mixture of face-to-face learning and online learning, we have to modify and adapt the assessment tools or testing tools to the blended learning mode. Here, the assessment tools, formative assessment tools usually used in blended learning include in-lesson polls, self-assessment, partner quizzes, presentations, peer assessment. And the summative assessment here in blended learning basically includes course final examination, end of unit or chapter tests, final projects or portfolios, achievement tests, standardized tests. These are all about my presentation, basically, and I don't know, I'm not much aware of the arrangement. Can I receive questions now from the audience, or you will receive questions after the end of all the presentations? I'm drawing the attention of the coordinator.
Sir, thank you very much for your valuable space. What we have decided to take the questions after all the
presentation.
Yeah.
Okay, so please just give me 2 minutes. Please just give me 2 minutes.
Yeah, couple of minutes. Yeah, while the questions are still coming, I have one little question from Mr. Hisham Abdullahi from.
Oh, just for the time being, just keep the questions with you. Okay. So after the completion of the presentations, we'll respond to the questions. Okay, and sir. Now let me conclude. Just give me a couple of minutes to conclude. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So it's the summary of what today I have presented: blended learning, face-to-face learning, number one, then virtual classroom, then webinars. Today we are here in a webinar, right? Links, then simulations, then assessment, and one-on-one coaching. It can be considered the summary of what today I have presented here in this webinar. And thank you very much. Thank you all for your enthusiasm, interests, and patience. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Maniruzzaman, for your valuable space. I just like to welcome our second resource person, Dr. Muhammad, Sofian, Hadi, to talk about innovative online methodologies. Dr. Hadi.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Mokammel. Let me share the screen first. Miss Aisha, can you make me co-host so I can share screen?
Yes, sir.
Yep. Okay.
Dr. Hadi, you need to make him co-host. Okay. So you are co-host now.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Aisha.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Can you see my slide, my PowerPoint presentation, Miss?
So there is
We can see a
Blank.
slide by
blank slide.
Okay, wait a second.
Okay.
Okay, what
Yes.
about now?
All good, yeah.
All good, thank you. Okay, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. The Honorable Session Chair of this international webinar, Dr. M.A. Kashem, and then also the Honorable, the moderator of this international webinar, Prof. Mokammel, and then the Honorable respected keynote speaker, this international webinar, Professor Dr. M. Maniruzzaman, and the Honorable also Professor Dr. Vishal Kumar as the research person of this international webinar, and then also the convener of this international webinar, Ms. Aisha Hatun. Alhamdulillah, today we gather here to talk about what we call an online learning. And then my topic here it will be about innovation and then online pedagogy. I'm going to start with the first slide. Hopefully, if the participant from Indonesia, they will understand this picture. Yeah, this will be the intermediate of my presentation. This is the picture of student trying to get an internet connection, so they can join the online learning. Yeah, so you have to find a better place with a good reception of internet connection. This is the first picture. And then second one, this one also, hopefully all the participants of this international seminar can see. Some of the students here also the same, trying to get a reception, a good reception for joining online learning. And then this one, this is an interesting one that I got randomly from Google. That I browsed all the picture and then put it together here. A coffee shop, a traditional coffee shop in Indonesia, that providing free Wi-Fi. So a student here, two students from primary level, from primary level can join an online learning. And And then next one, this work from home. Yeah, the participant here can see what the boss thing, and then the plan to do, and then the end. You can see here the last slide. Yeah, about the one joining online learning. And then this will be the last picture of the intermezzo for this talk. This written in Bahasa. If the student tried to skip the class while in a normal condition, they try to climb the wall and then just go home. But for now, in COVID-19, when the student want to skip the class, they just try to mute the video and then also the audio. Okay, that will be the intermezzo for this talk, ladies and gentlemen. And then now I would like to discuss more. I would like to explain more about the aim and then the objective of this talk. This talk here is about an innovative online pedagogy. When we try to talk about an online pedagogy, and then especially it is for the learning material for all level, starting maybe from primary school, secondary school, and then high school, and then last one, university that we got in Indonesia. We have many challenges. We have some challenges that need to be solved. And then hopefully after this presentation, the participant of this international conference or seminar will have a perspective about what kind of teaching strategy, method, or approach that can match with the situation of the student. And then let's start with this, the concept of B, U, C, and then A here: volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and then ambiguity. This problem that faced by all education system. It's not only in Indonesia, it's not only in UK, it's not only in Bangladesh, I guess, but all over the world. It consists of volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Here, the VUCA here also with the race that, as we know, as we already noticed, that the first industrial revolution began on 1784 here, water and steam, and then second one with industrial revolution 2.0 or 2.0 here, electrical energy and then assembly lines, and then the third industrial revolution 1969, automation, electronic and computer. And now what we deal with for the future or for the current teaching and learning process. Here what we have is Industrial Revolution 4.0 or 4.0. That make the concept of VUCE that become the impact of this industrial revolution. And then not only the VUCE happen, but we come to what we call by the post-truth here. The post-truth itself, now it is really hard for us to try to find the real truth. Some of us try to assume, try to think the truth only based on what we feel, not based on the fact that we have. That's the post-truth as the implication of the race of technologies that from 1.0 till the last one, 4.0 that we have now. And then innovation and learning. Innovation and learning deals with the creative kind of teacher, the creative kind of lecturer in providing the best, meaningful, and then also fun kind of teaching and learning process for the student. We can see, or we can describe a successful teacher, a lecturer, when giving the lesson or subject to the student. The student here, they feel that they want to see the teacher or the lecturer more and more again. That's what we call here by an innovative and then also creative kind of teacher. And then here is the setting of Indonesian education context, ladies and gentlemen. It is about to start from primary school, and then second one is secondary school, and then high school, and last one is university. I'm not mentioning about the kindergarten and then playgroup. I think this 4 level of education that we have in Indonesia here, it's relevant with this topic. And then now the 4 level of education that we have in Indonesia here, talking about the online and then innovation, I'm 100% agreed to respected Prof. Maniruzzaman that we have to build a blended kind of learning. So it is not only an online kind of learning, but we need to combine between face-to-face kind of teaching and learning process, and then also online learning or virtual kind of learning. In primary school that we have in Indonesia, and then also secondary and then high school, majority of the problem that we have today in Indonesia, because all teachers from primary school, secondary school, and then also high school believe that the student can learn by themselves. So the teacher just deliver the learning material, the tasks, and then there are no guidance, no assistance from the teacher to make parents, to give the assistance and guidance for their children. And then what about the university? University, it is an adult kind of learning, I guess. They have their own smartphone, they have their own gadgets. So while joining a full online kind of learning process or virtual learning, that will be easy for them. And the basic solution for all the level of education that we have in Indonesia here, I'm promoting what I call here the art of attraction. Yeah, the art of attraction. It is not about attracting some women, some to make the dating, but art of attraction here, what I mean, how did the teacher and the lecturer provide an interesting, fun kind of activity for the students, so they can love, so they will fall in love, they will fall in love for studying, enjoying the lesson. That's why today, 21st century of teaching and then learning process, teacher or lecturer here, it is not only for the comprehension of the knowledge or the subject, but they have to be attractive, they have to be innovative, they have to be creative. That's why it will be very different with the previous era, the previous decade, that when someone mastering knowledge or subject, so they can teach. But today, 21st century learning, we need more creative, innovative teacher and a lecturer to make the student fall in love for the lesson, for the subject. And then why the student here, they have to fall in love, so we can engage the student to the learning, and then they can achieve their teaching goal, their lesson. This that what I mentioned it earlier, love for the learning, yeah. And then my experience while teaching and then learning for primary, secondary, senior high, or even in university level, and then teacher training. The most difficult thing to do here is to make all the participants fall in love with the way that we deliver our lesson. Yeah, because once they are falling in love with the way that we are explaining, they will ask more. And then next, digital learning as the solution. Digital learning here is the product of 4.0 industrial revolution. Digital learning, and then also we have artificial intelligence, and then many things that refer to the digital learning. And then here I put several examples of what Professor Maniruzzaman mentioned as the best practice. Here's several things. The first here is playing online game with the student. It will be very helpful. I tried this one when we try to get close with our student and then make a scenario while playing game that as a learning process, so that will be really, really meaningful for them. And then the next one, watching student favorite movie, that will be the same. And then this also will be very relevant for our condition now for the COVID-19, a virtual tour with the student. Yeah, virtual tour here. So we can bring the student to enjoy a virtual tour provided by any tourist attraction place maybe, and then any tourist attraction that provide a virtual tour. And then creating learning apps for the student. And then this, I guess it will be a little bit difficult for the teacher or lecturer because it's need the knowledge of IT. And then we have also augmented reality, virtual reality, that will be the innovative kind of online pedagogy. And then the concluding remarks for my explanation here, an online kind of pedagogy will give not only the student, not only teacher, and then also lecturer, they will have a limitless kind of resources. Yeah, so in a certain kind of teaching and learning process, there will be the same. Yeah, the student, they already learned about something that they want to know, and then they already brushed that one, and then will come to the formal class or an online class, they just discuss it with their tutor, with their teacher, or with their lecturer. And then next one, this that I already mentioned earlier also, creative and then innovative teachers. What we need for 21st century of teacher, lecturer, we need a creative, innovative teacher. Yeah? Because if it is only giving a lesson, giving a task to the student, it means everyone can do that. And then we need a sense of art to be the kind of creative teacher and then also innovative teacher. And then last one here, my focus tech product here is our tool. Yeah, it's our tool, and then media, and then can be also the alternative solution to deal with 21st century teaching and learning paradigm. That's all can I deliver for today's talk. Thank you very much for your attention. And then the last I say, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Go back to you, Prof. Mokammel. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Hadi, could you please take your screen off from us?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Aisha. Mr. Anwar, could you please about us? Asham is here. Asham, is any sign of Dr. Kumar with us? Is he in on our panel so far?
He will be joining us within 5 to 10 minutes, I think.
Okay, then. Shall we go through a couple of question and answer session now?
Yes, there are request.
Okay, do you want to go through the questions, please, Asham, miss? Or yeah,
Yes,
do you
sir.
have any questions? Have you collected any questions?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please go ahead.
This is
Professor
question.
Maniruzzaman sir, are you here with us? Yes, you
Sir.
can.
I hear you. I hear you.
Okay, please go ahead, Ashamis, with the questions.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Professor, there is a question for Professor Dr. Maniruzzaman sir. Sir, there is a question from Vishal. He asked you that, do you think that online learning is accessible? Sometimes in some countries, not all our learners are used to online teaching, let alone network issues and the ability to cope with apps, devices, or platform used in teaching.
So what's the main point here?
Do you think that
Whether the learners are able to access online classes or not? Is it the point?
Yes, sir. I think the gentleman wanted to ask about yes, okay, is a blended learning, and the digital learning is absolutely a brilliant idea, no doubt about it. Is there any alternative way we can think about for the people who do not have access? As Dr. Hadi said already, there is we have to think about the digital property. Not all people, not all participants, not all students, learners throughout the world does have an access to the technical facilities. So is there anything else we probably can think of as a blended or alternative way of learning, teaching, learning, and assessment if the pandemic happen ever again, which nobody wants to, especially the people who have a very much digital under a privilege and facing a digital poverty, sir.
Okay, actually, it's a matter of research, number one. Okay,
Yep,
and yeah, I have already studied some research findings that I have seen that just if you consider the Bangladesh scenario, we have seen that some of our students don't have internet access, number one, or some students have slow internet access, number two. Number three, most of the students have very good internet access, but they don't have, actually they have internet access through their mobile sets, smartphones, but some students don't have that much compatible smartphone sets, plus they don't have that much financial ability to just purchase internet data. So these are the problems which should be solved by the authority and the government of a country, okay? So as a teacher, what I can do, I can say, when we find some underprivileged students, we can give them some extra time, some recorded materials, audio, video materials, we can provide them, okay? And we can help them some personally, but if we think of the case collectively, the underprivileged students should be, the government as well as the authority concerned should extend their cooperation and assistance to the underprivileged people. Because yeah, the thing is basically connected with two major issues. Number one, the financial side. So a teacher can solve the financial problem. And number two, the technical side or ability. And here, the teacher can't do actually anything. The teacher can just provide some extra academic help or research help. But to make the internet access easy or available to all the students, our authority as well as our government should work. Have you got any supplementary points?
Hello.
Yes, I hear.
Hello, sir. Hello, hello. Aisha, how are you? I have joined. Yeah, I have already joined. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Maniruzzaman, for your valuable item. I just, with your permission, just...
Mr. Haq, Dr. Vishal Kumar is with us.
Okay, thank you, Aisha Miss. Just with your permission, Dr. Maniruzzaman, I just wanted to add a few things. Yes, the question is very valid in terms of the digital meeting, the digital properties. Is not all the countries as privileged as Western countries. So therefore, there will be always an issues. So what some country, like I had a news from Indonesian government, I also had a news from a certain part of India and in Africa as well. What institute or the government, local government as a collaboratively are doing, they have decided to meet the digital poverty in terms of during the pandemic by offering them, by giving it as a loan, as a little mini devices with an internet dongle or something. So that's something probably can think of. Yes, it is possible, it is cost, but nobody knew that what we have faced last 5 months, nobody ever dreamed of that will happen in our life. So now on, because this happened, people face, the government face, institute face, public face, everybody face. If anything happen in future, obviously nobody wants that to be happen ever again. The countries, institutions, governments will be better prepared for the future to make sure the digital property has been met, equality and diversity policy throughout the globe has been met, and the classroom and tutorial, the differentiation activities has been implemented throughout the classroom and tutorial. And obviously, all of us, everybody's here, somehow, somewhere linked with any sort of institute. Therefore, we are here, and we have to make sure every child matter and every child goes to school, college, and university, gets the right amount of education what they deserve for.
Yeah, can I share some measures being taken by my university?
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir, please.
Yeah. We have also got some students, underprivileged students, and they have different problems. They don't have that much easy access, internet access. They don't have, they can't afford the internet data, etc., etc. So UGC, the Grants Commission, University Grants Commission, as well as the Ministry of Education in Bangladesh, is thinking of providing the students with free internet data. Okay. And our university authority is thinking of just providing some students, actually the needy students, with some smartphones so that they can easily attend classes online. In this way, the authorities at different levels are trying to solve the problems. I mean, help the underprivileged or disadvantaged students. Okay. So as my point, I already mentioned, as a teacher, I can solve such problems. I can't give money, I can't give internet data, I can't give the internet connection. But what can I do? I can help with some extra, giving some extra time, giving some extra materials, giving some extra instruction, giving some just opportunity to take the assessment according to the convenience of the underprivileged student. These are the points which are actually linked to me as a teacher. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Hisham Abdul Wafi, do you have any link question to Dr. Maniruzzaman, or are you okay at the moment? Shall we move on?
I already answered, maybe so far as I remember, I already answered his questions in texting. So if he has any supplementary or complementary question, I'm happy to respond to that.
Thank you, sir. Okay.
Mr. Hisham, do you have any supplementary or complementary questions?
Well, assalamu alaikum. Thank you, sir. I think I had my questions answered. So I've enjoyed your answers. I have no more questions.
Are you satisfied with my answer? Oh,
Yes, sir.
Very satisfied.
yeah,
Thank you so
I'm
much.
inspired. I'm inspired. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Right. Shall we move on another question, or shall we leave the question for as?
So first finish me. Yeah. So I want to request you to finish me.
Okay.
I want not to destroy me. Just finish the questions with me.
Okay.
There is another question for you, sir. So,
Okay. Yes, please, Aisha, please go ahead. Aisha's question.
there is another question from Nadir Ahmed. He has paid his sincere gratitude to Professor Dr. Maniruzzaman sir for being his student. And his question is it possible to teach and learn through online very well? He is a bit conscious about the test assessment and evaluation. Actually, maximum faculty members are very much concerned about the assessment apart from teaching and learning. Sir, would you like to respond to this question?
Oh, it's a very nice question, and just through exchanges with my colleagues from different educational institutions in Bangladesh and outside this country, I mean overseas colleagues, they are a little worried about the assessment system. But I think as actually we are not prepared to face COVID-19, but now we have had just after 3-4 months, we are now a little prepared to, we are facing that. We just now wear masks. We frequently wash our hands. So these are the points, these are the measures we are taking to face COVID. So this is not a unique situation. Before COVID-19, this planet faced many other pandemics or epidemics. If we remember the Spanish flu, that was also very much devastating and very much destructive. Okay, as the communication, that time the communication was not that much easy. So the Spanish flu didn't spread across the globe. But now we live in a global village. Communication is very easy. I can anytime go to a country. I can anytime go outside of my country in a couple of minutes or in 3-4 hours. I mean, in a couple of hours or in 3-4 hours. So we see that COVID-19 spread so rapidly and so I think much comfortability for the virus, I think. So yeah, what I did a special graduate course at the University of Oregon in the United States of America, and there I very intensively studied assessment. And what I feel as an expert in assessment, we can, as we are traditionally used to the pen and pencil examination, we sometimes don't have the mindset to go outside of that. But there are a lot of alternative assessment tools. Let me mention some tools. For example, portfolio assessment, self-assessment, student-designed tests, learner-centered assessments, projects, presentations, maybe oral presentations or written presentations, keeping diaries. These are the different types of alternative assessment. We can use them in various ways just to, based on the consideration or needs analysis of our students. And in this way, if we continue blended learning or especially online learning, I think it will not be a problem to assess our students' achievement and progress. So we shouldn't be that much worried about the assessment system. We have to do research. We have to analyze the needs and interests of our students. Then there are a lot of options on the table. We have to adopt the suitable options, I mean assessment tools or instruments, and then we should start using. And through use, we will be able to modify that. If we think of the TOEFL test, once the TOEFL was very popular, am I taking a lot of time?
It's okay, sir. It's okay. You can go ahead for another few minutes. Yeah, we are
Just give me 1 minute more. 1 minute. One more.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Minute. Okay. Okay. If we think of TOEFL, that was very popular all over the world. But now it has been replaced, almost replaced by IELTS. Okay. And IELTS wasn't once very much valid, reliable, and practical, or I think popular test. But now it's considered very much valid, very much reliable, very much secure, very much authentic, and it's now accepted and respected across the globe. In this way, I think if we continue online learning, we will be able to adopt an assessment system compatible with the online learning. Thank you very much. Sorry for taking a lot of time.
No, it's okay, sir. Thank you very much. I just wanted to add a little bit about what interesting things you have said in terms of the language testing. Starting from long time ago, when we was as a kid, TOEFL is a big thing to going to abroad, and then TOEFL is replaced with IELTS. But then again, the IELTS also currently has been replaced by things called PTE, which is designed
Pearson test
of English. And coincidentally or incidentally, I don't know, I'm one of the Pearson's international moderator and writer as well. So the way it works is completely
sorry to intervene. I am just under threat now because I am an, IELTS speaking examiner. If IELTS loses its popularity, I will lose my job. So as you are working with Pearson, so you can give me a job to replace that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So the whole idea of PTE, the word, I'm not advertising PTE here. I'm sorry. It's just because of, I'm just wanting to compare the PTE with the digital learning. All the teaching resources are blended, video, presentations, and everything. When it comes to the teaching, testing, the whole testing procedures is also based on the system as well. So basically, what I'm going to ask few questions. Probably I've got quite a few questions with Dr. Hadi. Such interesting stuff he has included about the Industry 4. Revolution of the Industry 4 made a big changes, not only the industrialization, but also an educational establishment throughout the globe. And what we can see, we have during this pandemic, we have actually introduced people or researchers researching and trying to find out an online invigilation, so that the students don't have to physically go to universities or classrooms or the exam center to conduct their exams. PTE or such type of things is already around. But what universities currently trying to do, contract with the industries and especially the IT specialists like our chairman sir, trying to include those industry experts to find out the solution, how a bedroom or sitting room or living room, dining room can be converted into an exam center. What a wonderful thought. With that, I just wanted to go further. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk. Dr. Hadi, we'll talk, go with your question and answer later session with your permission. We do have our final panelist member, Professor Dr. Vishal Kumar. With you, sir, are you okay to join with us now?
Yeah, I have already joined. Thank you very much.
You, sir. Are you okay to go through with the presentation now? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Please, shall I, obviously we had an introduction session. We introduced you before you join with us. So please go ahead with the presentation. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So very good evening to one and all. At the very outset, I want to thank organizers of this international webinar, especially Ms. Aisha Khatun, Coordinator ISTEM Bangladesh, and convener of this webinar for having me here, and also congratulate the whole organizing team of ISTEM Bangladesh for taking the initiative and providing a platform for all the learners who want to stay updated amidst COVID-19 pandemic. I believe this is an opportunity in disguise for all of us. Today's session is designed for faculty from various parts of the world, which will help them to learn how to imbibe the e-learning skills required in these times, and also throw light on various productivity tools for e-learning. It is important to stay up to date with the technology because we have seen a noticeable increase in the interest of the learners for the last few months. I'll try to make this session interactive. So before starting the session, I request to all of you to be active during the session and give your inputs whenever required. Time to time, I will be sharing with you some links in your chat box, and you will have to give me your response in the form of a written statement or polling, right? So, okay, let's kickstart the session. I'm sharing my screen. I hope my screen is visible to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So today's session is designed on the topic e-learning strategies and techniques for enhancing the productivity. Let us discuss the roadmap of this session. I'll discuss first of all the changing trends of higher education. Then we'll discuss the role of technology in e-learning, and then active learning techniques are in the pipeline. And last, we will discuss some of the productivity tools for e-learning depending upon the time, right? So let's start. So don't you think I have already listened a discussion and question answer round before my session. So don't you think COVID-19 pandemic has changed the education forever? This is how. The COVID-19 has resulted in educational institutions being shut all across the world. Globally, billions of students are out of the classroom nowadays, right? So as a result, education has changed dramatically with the distinctive rise of e-learning, whereby teaching is undertaken remotely and on digital platforms, right? So various researchers have revealed that online learning would be a part of the education system across the globe, even post COVID-19, due to its many benefits over the classroom teaching. But there is a big challenge to upgrade the teaching fraternity so that they should be able to cope up with this advancement in technology and also contribute in growing needs of higher education, right? Social, technological, and economic drivers are transforming the education system around the world, right? So the reasons for these changing trends are globalization of the business. Globalization has had many obvious effects on education. The communication system changed the way education is delivered, as well as roles played by both teachers and students. It actually enhances the ability of learners to assess, access, adopt, and apply knowledge in order to collaborate with others and make sense of new situations. Knowledge-based economy. Knowledge economy is the next stage of global economic development. ICT, education, and innovation are three pillars which form knowledge as a central capacity builder for nations. And the third one is lack of skills, because education has a vital role to play in developing the knowledge, skills, and attitude. So lack of skills and knowledge amongst learners demand skill-based and self-paced courses. And last one is social and demographic factors. Because one of the biggest changes in the educational sector in the developing countries has come from the shift in demographics over the years. So demographic factors like gender issues, urban, rural, family size, poverty, etc. also shifted the learners from bricks to clicks. So all these trends are causing a paradigm shift in the education sector and creating demand for e-learning or online education. On the basis of the various discussions, I can conclude that these are the components of e-learning, right? So the first one is how to make teaching learning interactive, then how to use the productivity tools, then how to create the e-content, because nowadays it's a big challenge for the teaching fraternity who are not well acquainted with the computer knowledge, right? And last one is the knowledge about the digital platform. So these are the 4 pillars of e-learning, I would say. So before moving ahead, let's have a one warm-up activity, because the session, I think it has been started from 3:30. So it's now more than, it's 5 o'clock from Indian Standard Time. So already people are, I think they might have tired, or I just want to involve them. So let us conduct one warm-up activity. So you have to think aloud, right? So I'm giving you 2 scenarios, right? So scenario 1 is consider a class in the 20th century. How do you imagine it? I'm repeating again. Scenario 1 is consider a class in the 20th century. How do you imagine it? And then scenario 2 is now consider a class in the 21st century. Just imagine it. So what do you have to do? You only have to think and post one key difference between the 2 scenarios, right? So scenario 1 is the class in the 20th century, and scenario 2 is consider a class in the 21st century. So for this activity, I'm giving you a window for 2 minutes, right? So I'm sharing with you the link. So you have to respond me on my Padlet. Yeah. So I have shared one link in the chat box. So I request you just click this link and give me your input, right? So I'm giving you 2 minutes for completing this activity. Fine. So the window is open. So let's see what you people are doing. I hope everyone is able to access this. So when you click this link, you will find the Padlet open, right? So from the plus sign, you will have to give me your input. So just click the plus sign and you will find the 2 columns. In the upper column, you can write your name in the heading and then you will give your remarks. So nobody has written so far. I hope it is working. Yeah, it is working. So somebody is writing, physical presence was more than now. Okay. So I request all the participants to please participate in this activity and give your inputs, because unless and until you will not involve in the session, it will not be, interactive. And the objective of organizing this international webinar cannot be achieved, right? So I request to all of you, just click the link and give me your input.
Sir, I cannot open the link. It's showing blank page.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So the people who are seeing this webinar online through Facebook Live. So I think I don't I can't think they would be able to access. So I request the organizer kindly share this link to those candidates also, so that those participants also, so that they can participate.
So,
I
sir,
think we have quite few responses, sir. Okay, I can see quite few responses.
we cannot access it
First
from
classes
here.
are more flexible.
Yeah, I think it is not accessible to all the participants. So that's why
Yes, sir.
I am requesting, please share this link on the Facebook Live also, where you are
Sir,
streaming.
you are a panel moderator at the moment, so you have shared this with all the participants, so they knows already. They have the access to all of those.
Okay. I have shared with all the participants and panelists.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me read now. Some of the participants have written. Class nowadays using and providing media technology during learning session. That's great. So second one is 20th century. We are facing some primary introduction of the technology, but in the 21st century, we may fully dependent on the technology. Not bad. Okay. Somebody has written 21st century classes are more flexible. Okay. And somebody has written online sessions are more often in 21st century, I guess. Fine. So let me move ahead. So let's summarize. Actually, in the 20th century, information was at premium because there was no internet, books were very expensive, and there was limited access to the libraries. Fine. And hence, those who had the access to the information and could transmit it effectively were highly valued, because information was most important at that time. So students were mostly passive learners, absorbing information during the lecture and doing their practice later on. So what has changed the 21st century? So in the 21st century, information is no longer at a premium, because a lot of accessible videos, demos, and academic scripts are available on the web. And today it is not enough for a teacher to only transmit the information effectively, because information can be easily accessible, right? So that is why, or what is the reason for this? Because there is a dramatic shift of focus from teacher-centric to the learner-centric pedagogy, right? So that's why the approach is changing from bricks to clicks. So bricks here means your classroom, bricks here means your college, bricks here means your university, and clicks here means a virtual classroom, a virtual universities, because nowadays a number of universities like Harvard, Cambridge, and lot of renowned universities are offering online courses. Some of the universities are offering free of cost, or some of the universities are charging very nominal amount, right? So the shift has been changed from teacher-centric to the learner-centric pedagogy. So technology is playing a key role. As we have already discussed, technology is playing a key role in today's scenario and helps in making teaching learning more meaningful, because it is an enabler and facilitator. Fine. So to implement technology-enabled teaching and learning, a teacher, an instructor must be good subject expert, because you must have knowledge over your subject, you must have command over your subject, and must have awareness what is happening around, right? And appropriate ICT experience, hands-on practice, right? He must be, he must be acquainted with all the knowledge of the computers and various techniques, and last but not the least, creative and innovative. You always have to think out of the box to engage your learners, right? So let's again have a discussion between two teachers. Consider two teachers, teachers A and teachers B, right? So teacher A gives an excellent lecture in the class, demonstrates solving many problems, and also gives appropriate homework to their students, as in the traditional, style of teaching. And whereas teacher B doesn't lecture continuously, nor does he give as much homework. Instead, rather, he makes his students do activities in the class, lets them practice at home what they have learned immediately sometime, and ensures that they get feedback on their work, right? So these are the two teachers, teacher A and teacher B. So normally I conducted this discussion in my physical classroom, but we have in the virtual classroom, virtual session. So I am forming the two groups, right? Group A and group B. So let us suppose the people whose names start from A to N, they are in. People whose name starts from O to Z, they are in the group B. Fine. So I don't know the names of the participants. It is, assumed. So what you have to do, group A will write the points in favor of teacher A's pedagogy or method, and group B will write the points for favor of teacher B's method, right? So I would like to have your responses. You can access, just a minute. You can give me your input. Yes, I have shared the link in the chat box, which is visible to all the panelists and attendees. So I request to all the attendees to click this link and give me your input. So I repeat once again, these are the two teachers, teacher A and teacher B. Teacher A gives an excellent lecture in the class, demonstrates many problems, and gives appropriate homework to their student, right? And teacher B doesn't lecture continuously, nor does he give much homework. Instead, he involves the students in the practice and ensures that they get the feedback on their work, right? So you just, write the name of your group, not the name of, not your own name. Just in the heading, write your group name A or B and write your remarks. Fine. So the window is given for 2 minutes, right? So I'm waiting for your responses. Okay, somebody has started writing formative feedback. Okay, so I expect everybody should participate so that this session would be more interactive. Just click the link. You would be able to, even if you are viewing from the phone, you can even write your remarks. So teacher A is a formative feedback, ongoing assessment is vital for learning. Oh, that's really great. So I'm waiting the responses from the other participants. The window is still open. Yeah, that's great. I appreciate. Group B, okay. For group B teachers, they can easily show topic related video materials, and it will be more interactive learning. Oh, that's really great. Oh, somebody has written in favor of group B. The most important thing is to learn. So it's happening in B class. Very, very good. Very good. I appreciate. Okay. Teacher B's students are more creative. They can solve problems by themselves. Okay, fine. Somebody has written in favor of teacher A. In our country, where we mostly rely on GTM, we are so much dependent on the teacher. Yeah, that I'll discuss later on. Group A. Students understand the subject better, understand many different point of views, because they teach us to solve many problems. Appreciable, right? I'm expecting some more responses so that we can have a very good discussion. I'm waiting for your responses. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Please try. Please try. You will be able to write. I think some people are writing on the chat box itself. Yeah, some people are saying that they have a link problem. No issue, no issue. I could understand. Those people who cannot write on my Padlet, they can write on the chat box only. Yeah, now people are, writing. So no issue. Those who are not able to access the Padlet, they should write their opinion in the chat box itself. Very good, very good. Students enjoy teacher B more than teacher A. Very good, very good. So you start, playing with the Padlet. Somebody has taken this. Okay, I really like this. Anyway, let's move on, and we will discuss in detail. Okay. So basically, from the discussion, what are the gist of these kind of discussion? Because the learning shift is changed. How it is changing? Because centralized learning to learner centric. I have already discussed. Actually, there are two kind of models of the learning. One is push model of learning, and the another one is pull model of learning. So what is push model of learning? So in push model of learning, the source of information is only one. For example, if today I'm not well and I'm not able to go to take my class, so sometime my students, they will not be able to attend my class, or means they cannot access the information which they could access if I attended their session, right? So here you can see that the source of information is only one person, right? So this is a push model of learning, right? But in case of pull model of learning, learner have many options. They can join the virtual classrooms. They can download various tools. They can evaluate their skill assessment, and they can have the online mentors. They can join discussion forums, right? So they can join the discussion forums, and from the discussion forums, they can have the solution to their problems. And knowledge management database, they can access public internet, webcast, self-paced courses they can join. So basically, push learning is an instructor-centric approach of teaching, which is traditional way of learning, as in the case of teacher A. And in push mode, you passively wait for the information to reach you, whereas pull learning allows students to tailor their learning experience to their own needs based on job roles, personal knowledge, and career interest. Nowadays, many students earn while learn, so they can explore self-paced courses and also get the help of their peer group by participating in the discussion forums, right? Now the question is how to adopt and adapt the learner-centric pedagogy, right? So let's talk about the centralized learning, which is an active learning technique. So in this case, students go beyond listening, writing notes, executing prescribed procedures, and students ask to figure things out during the class. So is it an active learning? You can just, use your chat box and just tell me, is it an active learning? I'm just viewing your chat box. Okay, somebody has written, yes, I think it is. No, okay. No, no. Very good, very good. I really appreciate your participation. Now you people are, actively participating. That's a need of this kind of, international webinars. It is an active learning. No. Okay. So very good. But the answer is obviously. No, it is not an active learning, because it needs attitude shift of teacher. Because due to this pandemic, a lot of people, they are, accessing the online teaching and learning, but there is a, dire need to change the attitude. What kind of change? From content oriented to learning oriented, number one, and from how well I am lecturing to how well are they learning. So that is the main point I'm telling you, right? So most of the teachers, they used to say, my lecture is, plenty, my lecture is plenty interesting, and students, used to listen my lectures. So they generally, praise their lectures. So nowadays, the main requirement is how well the students are learning, how well the students are understanding. So that is the requirement. Fine. So what is the misconception here? Many teachers say, as I said recently, my lectures are plenty interactive, because I have listened so many, teachers. Because I often pause to ask students if they understood the material. I allow students to interrupt whenever they have doubts. I never hesitate to answer their questions. I show them demos and videos. So on the basis of these, parameters, they would say my lectures are plenty interactive. Isn't this an active learning? Isn't this an active learning? So please use your, I'm just sharing again a link with you, and you have to give me your reply in the.
Could all participants, could you please mute your mouth speaker, please? It's been distracted by.
Please use this link. It's an online polling. I have used some tools during my presentation so that you should be able to access these tools. And at the end of the session, we should discuss that what is the requirement of these tools in order to engage our learners, right? So I have given you one link in your chat box. You are requested to click this link, and I am viewing what you have selected. So it's an online polling, right? Oh, that's great. That's great. I hope everybody is able to view this. That's great. So the number is increasing, from the previous activity. So in this activity, 9 participants, they have contributed yet. So I am expecting that more number of, participants, they should able to access the links and give me your inputs. So isn't this an active learning? You only have to give me your responses, right? In the form of yes or no. Keeping in consideration some of the participants not able to access the links. So I am assuming that most of the participants, they are in favor of yes. So they are believing that it is an active learning, right? Just tell me one more, I just need your input once again. Why interactive lectures may not be enough? Some of the faculty members or some of the, renowned teachers, they say, my sessions are very interactive, my lectures are very interactive, but sometimes interactive lectures even may not be enough because students sometimes don't pay utmost attention throughout the lecture, right? And students think that they understand because they can follow the lecture. Because if we will give them the videos, they think that I can see this video anytime, right? So sometimes it from the active learning, it goes to the passive learning, right? So they are not, because they are not confronted with their misconceptions immediately. So there is a dire need to change the mindset. There is a dire need to change the attitude of the learners also. And sometimes difficult to ensure that all students in the class participate actively, right? And why students with a high motivation achievement levels derive the pace, because we have observed so many times, right? And students with the low achievement levels get left behind. So that is why it's difficult to ensure that all students in the class participate actively. Students may have a barrier to responding directly to the instructor, as sometimes seen while joining this session, 94 participants are there. So if only 9 or 10 participants, they are able to contribute or they are able to respond on my links, it means there are certain constraints, maybe sometime due to the technological barriers, sometime due to the technical glitch, whatever it is, right? So shy students sometimes don't ask questions or give answer even if they have one. And sometime it is also applies on me. And sometimes forcing all students to respond tends to be counterproductive, right? So that's why I'm not compelling you to respond again and again. Fine. So what are the active learning strategies? So what is the requirement here? Students should go beyond listening, copying of notes, execution of prescribed procedures. Instructor should design activities that require students to interact, write, reflect, and express their thinking. Fine. Explicitly based on the theories of learning, and as Mr. Haq was discussing, evaluate the students' learning repeatedly. I have already learned the discussion before my session that learning assessment is very important. So evaluate the students' learning repeatedly. So that is the dire need of today. So let's have one think, pair, and share activity. Because if it would it would be the physical classroom, so I just give one topic to my students and grouping the students, and then they think, they pair, and they share their views. But since it's a virtual sessions, so let's hope for the best. So please be attentive. Consider the topic. Just it's a simple topic, irrespective of you are from any engineering or commerce and management background or humanities background. So ignoring these facts, it's a very simple and general topic: how to manage stress. You are currently teaching in your class, let us assume. Fine. So think, how will you incorporate active learning in this topic? So just think, how will you incorporate active learning in this topic? List 2 ways of doing so, right? Write down your answer as specific as you can. So I repeat my question: considering that you are currently teaching in your class to your students how to manage the stress, and I am just asking, how will you incorporate the active learning in this topic? You only have to do what you have to do? List 2 ways of doing so and write down your answer. So you can discuss with your neighbor, and you can share your opinion in the chat box so that everybody can see this and check yourself whether your activity is learner centric or not. And please, I request you, after that, share on my Padlet. Fine. So I'm again sharing this link in your chat box. Okay, so I have shared my link in the chat box. So I request to all the participants, please click this link, and I'm expecting that this time more number of participants, they would be able to access this.
Sir, could you repeat the questions again so that all of our participants can hear again?
Yeah, I'm repeating.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just asking, let us assume that you are currently teaching in the class, and the topic is very simple: how to manage the stress. Because nowadays we are, observing that a lot of people are in, depressive stage, especially the teaching community, because for the last 6 months we have been sitting at home and doing work from home, and sometimes, it is, not favorable in all the circumstances. So I'm assuming that you are currently teaching in the class and the topic is how to manage the stress. I'm just asking, how will you incorporate active learning in this topic, right? So you have to incorporate active learning in this topic, and you have to list 2 ways of doing so. How will you engage the students and write the 2 ways of doing so, right? So you can discuss with your neighbor and share your opinion on my Padlet. Very good. Somebody has already started writing. Plan a session more innovative, engaging, interesting, involving, task-oriented. I really appreciate. I really appreciate. I really appreciate. I hope everybody would be able to participate. Yeah. Somebody, some other person is writing. Be calm and positive. Try to be inspirational. Okay, calm and positive is fine, but you have to give me 2, methods to list the 2 ways of to be an interactive or active learning in the class for this topic, how to manage the stress. How to manage the stress. You have to give me 2 ways of being, active, 2 active learning techniques for teaching this topic to your students. Okay. The window is just, yeah. Please write. Please write. Everybody is viewing. It is a digital pad, and that is the beauty of online teaching, right? So when you are able to access the online teaching productivity tools, then sometime if we have, for example, 100 participants, right? Or sometime for 100 students, it is not possible to write and paste the ideas of everyone on the board, right? But here, even the participants are 100. I have conducted the session where the participants were, more than 5,000 also. So we have used this Padlet, and they have, appropriately used this Padlet and given their opinion, and everybody is able to see that. So these kind of things can be possible only in e-learning, only when you are acquainted with the knowledge of using the productivity tools. So Padlet is also one of the tools that I will discuss in my productivity tools session. So somebody has written, ask the students if any of them has ever successfully overcome stress. Okay. he or she can take the role of teacher for a few minutes. I really appreciate your concern, because the way of, means changing the attitude of the students, that is required. Engaging with the positive thinking, you can discuss with the stories, you can discuss with, the biographies of many tycoons and many renowned persons. Fun learning is also one of the way of engaging them. So not bad. And those people who cannot access the link through Padlet, I hope they have shared their opinion in the chat box. So let me check the chat box. Okay. Yeah, some people have written their opinion in the chat box, telling students an interesting story that has a connection to a message, then delivering the lecture with interactive with all of them. Okay, I really appreciate. Practicing deep breathing, telling funny story. That is also, one of the technique in the corporate sector. Most of the people, they are using it. Differentiated lesson plan may help. Okay. Involves in any activity related to class topic, and change the topic that discussing in the meantime and move to another interesting views. So that is the requirement. You only have to give me your inputs. We can say them to do some exercise steps with the learners. After that, they will get some fun and get relief. Then later on will be more active. Okay, well, you are, teachers can do anything. They can always do wonders. So we can share and listen some interesting experiences from them for 2-3 minutes. So very good. I really appreciate your participation. And you can see that only within a period of 1 hour, you people are able to, you are now actively participating. So think, pair, and share is also an interactive learning strategy, because when we are talking about the strategies, so think, pair, and share kind of activities are required in the class, as well as class in the virtual session or class in the physical session. You can use these kind of activities to make your learners more interactive or to engage your learners. Fine. So let us I'm just discussing, not diving deep into these kind of platforms. So these are the various digital platforms of e-learning, right? So Coursera, Udacity, Udemy, EDX, these are the popular international platforms. And EPG Pathshala, NPTEL, and SWAYAM, these are the Indian platforms. So worldwide people are accessing this. So in the 2014, I got the opportunity to contribute in the project, which was the first initiative of the Government of India, EPG Pathshala in management. I was the coordinator of entrepreneurship development and project management, and coordinated the whole project for the modules of 600, 15 papers of the various subjects. And I also written and contributed 70 modules. So all these modules are available on the web as well as on the government's website, EPG Pathshala, right? So I'm also the MOOC instructor, and in India on SWAYAM platform, my paper, organizational behavior, it is ongoing paper on the SWAYAM platform. So anybody can join online. I'll be sharing the link after this session, right? So let's move on just to discuss the productivity tools for making teaching more interactive. So first one is Padlet. So Padlet, is a wonderful platform because it is a digital board, but not simple board. So it has so many features. I would like to share with you some of its features.
Sir,
yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I hope it is visible to all of you. right?
Yes,
So
sir.
it's a practice board. So, you know, Padlet is such a tool where if you will try to use this Padlet, you will, after login, you will immediately get 3 Padlets free by the use. Just, you know, we use the credit cards, they increase our limits. So whenever you will use, you know, making the best use of these Padlets, they will increase your limits. So this is in the basic plan. Fine. So just double tap, right? So it will be open. Now see, these are the various options that can be done. So it can be created like a cloud for you. So you can upload the any kind of, you know, pictures from your computer. You can link any, you know, your video. You can explore your Google Drive or any kind of drive and interlink your means whatever your material is there. And even live camera can be used. You can take your snaps while taking the lectures and post your videos or store your video in the Padlet. And I'm not using this because my camera is already busy with you, right? You can even make the video. You can make small videos. Limit is there, but it is okay to record the videos for 7 to 10 minutes, right? You can just record your voice from your microphone. You can record your screen. For means there are certain other tools I will be discussing with you. So this tool can also be used for recording your screen, and you can draw, you know, you can draw some of the pictures. I'll show you some of my means participants. They just practice how they practice on the Padlet. And even you can add location. Sometime, you know, if we have to move from one place to another, we use Google means location, Google Maps. So you can use your location and save in the Padlet. And these are kind of the, you know, things which you can use. So it is a wonderful tool and it is free of cost. You know, you need not to carry your pen drive or hard disk with you. Just save your material here and you can move anywhere, right? So it's a beautiful, you know, one of the very interesting teaching tool. Second one is Prezi. Prezi is one of my favorite tool. So just let me show you. Yeah. So you can see I have also recorded so many sessions from here. So I have 2 accounts. So in this basic account, I have also recorded so many live interactive sessions. But the beauty of this site is because my camera is already engaged, so I cannot use the camera. Otherwise, from here, explore video gallery. When you will explore the video gallery, you will find, you know, various videos which are made by the, you know, community of the Prezi, and you can use the templates of any videos. These are freely accessible and you can use it, right? So you can use these videos for making your presentations, for making your videos, and for making, you know, for creating your own videos. So it's a wonderful tool, right? And even you can use the various infographics. You can use various social media posts, right? You can make various social media posts by using the Prezi. And also you can, number of templates are there, and these are easily editable. So you can choose any template and then start your own creating on. And even if you want to create your PowerPoint presentations, there are n number of templates available here, and you just have to choose one of them and make your own presentations, because when you are using the online teaching methodology, so you have to engage your learners. So unless and until you will not make the very good presentation, it will not seek the attention of your learners. So you have to make very good presentations. You can use half video presentations. You can on the front page you can use full video presentations. You can even record the screen. So all these things can be easily done with the help of Prezi. Fine. Another is Beatable. Beatable is also one of my favorite site. Let me showing you. Yeah, so you can see I have made so many presentations here, so many videos here. I am showing you a video of my MOOC course. Just wait for a while. Is it audible? Hello, is it audible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
you can hear you, sir. Sorry, sir. We can't see anybody videos or we can't hear anything. Shall we just move on, because we are a little bit concerned with our time, sir?
Okay.
Thank
Fine.
you, sir.
Okay. So these kind of videos you can make and use for your presentations. So next is Canva. Canva is also one of the tool which you can use for use as a designing graphics or infographics. And the next one is Admodo. So Admodo is also a tool which you can use as a learning, management site. The most important thing is, for example, we use Google Classroom, sometimes we use Microsoft Teams. So it is a replacement of that. But most important thing is you will also, have the community of the teachers who are using the Admodo. So you can have interaction with them and get the solution of your problems. Mentimeter is used for live polling. So I have used it while taking your responses in the form of yes or no. So you can use it, Mentimeter. And another one is Poplet. So I'll show you this Poplet. So Poplet is a very, very good tool for making your presentations.
Sir, we can't see anything. If you are trying to show us something, shall we move on to the next slide, sir, please?
You're not able to see this.
We can see this slide, but are you trying to say anything how to generate Poplet?
Yeah.
We can't see that, sir. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, shall we just move on to here then, please? Just
okay.
Thank you.
So these are some of the other productivity tools. Moodle Genomio, it is used for learning management services. Presentation Tube Recorder, which I'll be sharing from my next slide. It is also used for recording the presentations, right? Screencastify and Loom, they are both using as a screen recorder. So because I think due to the constraints of time, I'm not showing it how to record the screen. Otherwise, you can use it, you can download as a Chrome extension, and you would be able to record your screen. And OBS Studio is a software which you can use for, changing your editing your videos, and Google Classroom. It is also learning management system. So I have already showed you. So this is a presentation tube recorder. It is a very good tool. So when you will open this, you will have this kind of screen on that. And first of all, you should download the presentation tube recorder software and prepare a video, right? And then enable your webcam. Microphone will record it automatically, fine. And after recording, you just have to stop it, save the video file, and can convert it in the MP4 file, and you can easily share it on your YouTube. So these are the kind of utilities which you can use your by using the presentation tube recorder. So thank you so much for your listening me patiently. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Valuable discussion. I wish we had a little bit more time, and then by looking at that, what we have understand. From my point of view, I'm a teaching, learning, and assessment expert working in different educational institutes in UK. It is a great honor to have all of three of you, and that the tools that Professor Dr. Kumar sir has presented to us, absolutely outstanding, mind-blowing, superb. If we ever have an opportunity, we probably will have a little bit of longer session with only the teachers, which is associated in different universities and colleges and institutes in UK, in Bangladesh and other part of the world. Probably this is one of the further tasks for Assamese to find workshop related activities for the whole day, involving the teachers mainly, how to present, how to prepare those videos, how wonderful the session was, and very innovative and interactive. It is, as sir asked before, that is a learning? Yes, it is a learning, fully learning session. If we consider all those 100 participants as students of Professor Kumar student, we are a teacher, he's a teacher trainer. If we consider that, I personally learned a lot. Even some of the stuff you have said, I heard about it, like Padlet, Prezi, Canva, then Mentimeter, you said?
Yeah, Mentimeter, Poplet.
Mentimeter, Poplet. Those are the things I heard about it, and I never thought that could be actually useful so easily in terms of the classroom, especially during pandemic time. Everybody knows about Moodles, everybody knows about Pro Monitor, Pro Solution, VLE, Blackboards, all those things. But those little things is really help for us and all the teachers and all the students we have today. And then it was a wonderful session. And one of the things that Aisha added on her comment about the Kahoot. Yeah, Kahoot is one of the very useful tools and useful during the
absolutely.
So the session was in general very innovative, very interactive. We have hundreds of different comments. I'm listening to everybody. I was just going through every single task as well, and see so many good comments are there. So it's basically, we learned a lot today. To move on further, we do have a few questions for our panelists. We have completed all of our question answer with Professor Dr. Maniruzzaman. Unless otherwise sir wants to join with us, if anybody wants to ask you any more questions, that we will be very happy to that. Now, I just wanted to give, Aisha, you have a couple of questions for Dr. Hadi. But before you ask Dr. Hadi a question, I have a question for Dr. Hadi from Jerin Muksan. What is augmented reality and what is the full form of VULA, sir?
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Mokammel, for the question. Let me start with the concept of BUCA. Yeah, so we are not using this to study, but this is the what we call the problems that we get after facing all the industrial revolution. And then also our current problems now here it is pandemic COVID-19. Yeah, so it is not something that we learn, but the problem that we should try to find out the solution. That the concept of VUCA that I already mentioned on the second or the third slide of my PowerPoint presentation. And for the augmented reality, yeah, for the augmented reality here, it is a technology that we can use, even we're in our room, but we can see a real object only using some kind of glass, some kind of tools that invented by the scientists. So we can use this one, for example, if we want to do a surgery, so we can see a real kind of object of human being, and then it is only the virtual, the tools that we have. That's the augmented reality, I guess. That's all, I guess, Prof. Mokammel about
Thank you,
augmented
sir.
reality.
Thank you, sir. I hope Zerin Muksan is happy with your answer. Yes, I am. I'm absolutely. Even I wasn't aware of what is augmented reality is. I'm fully educated, sir. Thank you very much. For the moment. Okay, Ashamis, you have a couple of questions. You have collected a couple of questions for Dr. Hadi and others as well. Could you please go ahead?
Yes, sir. My question is to Muhammad Hadi is, can you give us some guidelines, sir, how to be an engaging instructor to make an effective online education? I mean, some games or tasks or activities, re-education. Can you focus some light on this?
Okay, thank you very much for the question, Ms. Aisha. On my PowerPoint presentation, I already mentioned one concept that till now that I still hold on. Being an attractive kind of teacher or lecturer. Being an attractive here, it means when we come to the class, the student, they will love to learn with us. And then that's the most difficult thing, I guess, from 15 years of my teaching experience, dealing with many different kind of classes, how to make the student feel in love with the way that we teach them, the way that we conduct the lesson for them. And the example of games that you already mentioned, Kahoot, that's okay. Yes. And then in my case here, from my faculty, Muhammadiyah University of Jakarta, Faculty of Education, especially in this department, the use of games, the use of activity that we deliver to the student based on what kind of games that they play for now. So we are being the part of their daily playing. So if, for example, here, they are playing Mobile Legend or they're playing some kind of Scrabble thing. So we try to approach them and then taking part to do the game, to play the game together. And then that will be a chance to get close with the student, and then they will feel enjoy and fun to deal with us. I think that's all for the question.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful explanation. I have a question for Dr. Maniruzzaman, sir. Can I ask you, sir?
Thank you, ma'am.
Sir, my question is to you that is summative assessment can be replaced with formative assessment during pandemic?
Okay, actually it depends on the institution. If we think of Jahangirnagar University, it can't be done because we have an ordinance, examination ordinance, and we have to act in accordance with the ordinance. But if the ordinance is modified or remedied, or if the testing system is changed in the ordinance, we can do that. But as teachers, we can say that formative and summative assessments have their own purposes. But traditionally in Bangladesh, more weight is put on the summative assessment. For example, in my department, in the master's program, 80% marks are allotted for the final examination, I mean the summative assessment, and only 20% marks are allotted for the formative or continuous assessment. So we can make a balance between the two types of assessment. We can divide the whole marks into two halves. I mean 50-50, 50 marks for the summative assessment and 50 marks for the formative assessment. But if we think the COVID-19 pandemic situation, yes, we can replace the summative assessment with the formative assessment if the university authority modifies the assessment system prescribed in the ordinance. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Can I just mention something what's going on in my side of the world, this part of the world, in terms of the formative assessment, summative assessment, on any assessment?
Please, sir, proceed.
Okay, just wanted to find out is, thank you very much. It's such an important stuff. It's a very, very good question. Is can be replaced, the summative assessment can be replaced with the formative. Theoretically possible, yes. Everything, as Professor Dr. Maniruzzaman said, is depends on the university audiences, how they look like. Obviously, not only the universities, but also the government body, like an Office of Qualification in Bangladesh, probably University of Grand Commission need to be involved and need to have some ideas about that. But there is so many others way to materialize the formative assessment into a summative assessment, like an assessment board review. They can go through that. They can consider the students' ongoing assessment decision, like from the class tutorials, from class tests, and probably end of year test from first year, second year, third year university, into fourth year university. And then they probably can say, okay, what else we can do in terms of the things. We can say, okay, teachers oriented or center assess grade oriented. Okay, teachers make a judgment. That could be a little bit of bias. Teacher probably like somebody and not like somebody. That could be one problem. During pandemic, we also have considered derogation. Derogation means we're not going to take any formative assessment anyway. We're just going to move the students from this year to next year automatically, which is Bangladesh government probably currently thinking. So as the UK institute, like an university, especially universities, first year and second year students will have an automatic derogated to a next year, and especially any practical related activities they missed during the COVID-19, those will be added to a next year syllabuses so that the students don't waste their year. So there is so many different type of way of doing. Everybody actually can talk days and days and days, and this topic will never end.
Yeah,
okay?
just sorry to interrupt. Just let me summarize the whole thing. We have traditionally been using assessment of learning. Of learning, but we should think of using assessment for learning.
Yeah.
So we should replace assessment of learning by assessment for learning.
For learning, yes.
Thank you very much.
Those are the concepts that need to be generated. Thank you so much. I have a sorry, sir.
No problem. No problem.
Just looking at the time. I have a little question for one of the audience is asking for question, Professor Dr. Kumar, sir. Are you okay to answer one of the questions?
Yeah,
sir?
yeah, please.
Okay. Now, obviously, our Dr. Hadi did introduce the word Industry 4, which is, and then with the revolution of blessing of Industry 4, how we can plan for e-learning, or what can be done to ensure assessment processes are valid and reliable, and assessment decisions are fair and consistent during the COVID-19. What can be done?
Sir, actually, I have already discussed in my presentation that we should use the productivity tools as much as we can. For example, very small tools like Google Forms or Microsoft Forms. So for making the quiz, you can use the Google Forms. So when you will use the Google Forms, for example, after my session, I'm MOOC instructor of one of my course at Swayam platform. So when I completed 1 week, my modules, I immediately ask students some of the questions. It may be in the form of the case studies, it may be in the form of the quiz, it may be in the form of the little project, fine. So assessment can be done. Assessment means what you want to assess, the question is. So you just, want to assess whether the, whatever you have delivered, students have able to understood it or not, right? That is only the purpose of assessment. So assessment can, be done in any ways. And while giving them small projects, while giving them small quiz, which will be, whenever they will submit the project, or they will submit the, objective questions, immediately the result will be evaluated. That is up to you whether you want to give them the result immediately, or you want to give them the result thereafter with some kind of discussion in the discussion forums. So any kind of tool can be used for making this teaching learning more interactive. You are not audible, sir. Just unmute your mic.
Thank you, sir. Sorry. We have quite few little questions, which is I think we will cover. We're not going to take any more questions and at this stage. All the questions are on the text board. What we're going to go on the chat box, how we'll do. We will go through all of those, and if we and then we'll try to answer as many as questions. We have quite few questions. Is those seminars will be recorded and will be presented somewhere? Yes, it will be on our website, and we'll send the link to every single of our participant. And obviously, if anybody wants to be in touch with our speakers, please do let us know. And with the permission of our speakers, we'll certainly forward your details to them to be in touch with you. And so, as if you want to be in touch with us, we are also around. Now, before I hand over to our chairman, sir, for his last speech to us, and to Aisha Miss for the board of directors, thanks. I just wanted to say one little thing. This is the first international webinar that has been designed and planned by ISTEM. 3 key members, Aisha Khatun, DM Anwar Hussain, and Nur Hossain Shojib. Nur Hossain Shojib was nobody actually has seen him. He's sitting in a corner looking at all the audios, videos, and all the presentations, all the advertisement tools, the banners, anything you have seen that those has been created by Nur Hossain Shojib. Obviously, I don't know we can hear the claps or not. I really wanted to give you a big clap for Nur Hossain Shojib for his outstanding work for us. And DM Anwar, he's also being even I think last night he's working. Sorry, Aisha Miss, I have to give those few guys thank you. I know you have the right to give it thanks to everybody, but I have to do that on behalf of everybody. And DM Anwar Hossain, I know he's texted me around 3:30 morning in BD time. It was 3:30 BD time, but 9:30 my time. So I was okay. He's supposed to be sleeping. He still wanted have some clarification from me. So thank you, Mr. Anwar Hossain. And no doubt about Aisha Khatun, what you have done, organizing all of our speakers and going through all of these sequences and everything. And one thing what you have achieved, you wanted to start at 4 o'clock, you wanted to start finish at 10 to 7, and look at the time. What a wonderful. If I organize these seminars, Aisha Miss, I wouldn't able to start on time, I wouldn't able to finish on time. You managed it, you done it, well done.
Thank you, sir.
I just hand over this to our chairman, sir, for his valedictory speech. Thank you.
Chairman, sir.
Okay, well, thank you very much for a nice presentation of all of our speakers. It's a really great pleasure for me that we actually spend lots of time. I believe today we get lots of knowledge, and we share lots of knowledge, and after that we can generate new knowledge. Here a participant, more than 79 participants is still present there. I believe they will get benefit through this webinar, and we will next time we will arrange again this type of seminar for shared knowledge. Thank you very much. Muhammad, please unmute your microphone.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Abul Kashem, our honorable chairman, for your conclusion. I just like to welcome Aisha Miss again for the board of thanks and conclude the session for the day. Thank you.
Once again, I would like to thank and express my gratitude to all the distinguished speakers for responding to our invitation and blessed us with their knowledge and experience. I also want to thank the esteemed chairman and managing director of ISTEM for giving me consent to organize this webinar, and the whole ISTEM team member for providing their earnest support and effort for making this event a success one. I'd like to mention that ISTEM is the first educational institution of Bangladesh who took the initiative for e-learning from 21st March 2020, just after the closure of all educational institutions during COVID-19 pandemic by Skype and Messenger. Government of Bangladesh declared public holidays to maintain the social distance, hinder the spreading of the hereditary virus. In such circumstances, the disruption in study is inevitable, but ISTM took the measures to confront this challenging situation and is committed to support our students with e-learning. During this lockdown, our managing director, Mr. Hoff, conducted a series of CPD sessions mainly to enhance teaching learning assessment, and the outcome, what we achieved, is an outstanding result. A number of our students got high grade in their O-level exam, including 9 A-star. Congratulations, dear students. This proved that there is always a way, an alternative to learn and gain knowledge. It can be said that face-to-face learning can be replaced by e-learning using different strategies and techniques, where the quality of education will be maintained, ensuring better learning outcome. I want to thank and congratulate all learners and participants for joining us today. Feedback link is given to the chat box. Kindly fill up the form. Your e-certificate will be issued through your email within few days. Thank you, everyone.
আনোয়ার সাহেব, সবাই স্পিকার গুলো আনমিউট করে দাও, একটা হাততালি দেওয়ার জন্য সবার স্পিকার গুলো আনমিউট করে দাও, অটোমেটিক অল দ্য ফ্যামিলি। If anybody wants to stay here for one-to-one chat view, our meeting is officially ended. I'm here for a few minutes. If anybody wants to stay,
Can I ask a question, sir?
Yeah, the meeting is over now, so stop recording.
Mr. Haq, I would like to take your leave because I have some urgent work to do.
Okay, yes, sir. Please. We know that you are.
Thank you so much, Aisha. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Hadi,
Hopefully we'll
for
have.
joining us today. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Prof. Maniruzzaman.
Yeah, thank you.
Hadi
Thank
sir,
you, Dr. Vishal, thank you. Dr. Hadi, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof.
And my thank must goes to the management, ISTM management, especially to Mr. Mokammel and Ms. Aisha Khatun. And I'm very much grateful to the participants who have made this event successful. Thank you all very much. I wish you all the best. So during this pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic time, let's maintain health rules, maintain social or physical distance, stay safe and sound. I wish you all the best. Fi amanillah.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr.
Allah
Hadi.
Hadi,
and namaskar.
once the pandemic is over, I will have a plan to visit Indonesia on behalf of Pearson. I will be in touch with you in Jakarta.
Inshallah, we'll meet. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.